Welcome to Morning Reflections. I am your host, the Fat Mantis, and I'm coming to you from day 3 of Comic-Con. And day 3, that's right, I'm still here. Day 3 is when all the tears begin to fall. See, anyone can do one day or 2 days, but it is 3 and 4 that the real Spartans come out, because it tests your discipline, your willpower, and your emotional strength. On day 3, you begin to become agitated. You want to fight your friends, and mostly you want to cry. Ultimately, you really want to nap. But at the end of the day, you want salvation, but you want to keep having fun. It's like, when you're a kid, you don't want to fall asleep. You just want to keep staying up with your friends, but your body just yearns for the end of it. But just because I'm at Comic-Con does not mean that I am neglecting my most important thing, which is you, the fans. That's right, we need to talk about the reviews and theories for American Horror Story Episode 3. Let's start this off. So, Episode 3, Flashdance. It continues the trend of doing 2 more characters' backstories, including flashbacks and all sorts of other fun games. However, these flashbacks and these revelations were not nearly as entertaining as last week's of both Brooke and Xavier's. So they do Ray's backstory, and it was good, it was alright, it was a very cliche. And then they do Rita's, which answered a few questions that I think we all saw coming, but it was, it elaborated a little more, which I'll get more into that detail. They used an odd plot device where modern day kids dress up like the serial killer in question. In this case, it's Mr. Jingles, and they run around, and it causes confusion to the audience and everything going on in the characters about who is the actual serial killer, who is Mr. Jingles, which is weird because it's illogical in the first place, but they've already done this plot device in Season 2 Asylum. They did that exact same thing, just it's weaker every time it's used, so it's really weird that it was illogical in the first place, and they went with that again. I did enjoy the episode. I'm not condemning it as crap or anything like that, but I am going to have to put it with a 77. Yes, it passes. It did a little more than pass, and that's good, and that's all well and good. Really, I'm really excited for this coming up week's episode 4. So let's get into theories and crafting, right? And I'm going to start with my man Ray over here. So Ray has this crazy backstory, and I actually believe that what's going on is that we are going to every episode get 2 backs until finally around episode 5, the halfway mark, they will show us the backstories of Leslie Grossman's character, camp owner Margaret, and then I think they're also going to do Mr. Long Schlong Matthew Morrison, who I think has also some hidden treasures, and that wasn't a euphemism, in his backstory, which I can't wait to see. But this one does Ray, and as usual, it sticks to the anti-frat boy, typical stuff you might see in 80s horror, or even modern horror, to be honest. Nothing super sophisticated, but I will say this. Later on in the episode, Ray is unfortunately killed in a hysterical moment, and this is where I think the ghosts are going to play in. I do not think this is the last that we've seen of DeBron Horton, that's the actor's name. I think Ray will stay with us as a ghost. And we didn't just learn his backstory just to watch him die, but there might be more going on there, and his ghost will play an active role in this situation. Moving on to our super twistoid Montana. So here's this whole switch where Montana turns out to be working and in a romantic relationship with none other than the Night Stalker, and that blew my mind. Yes, I didn't see it coming at all. Totally flip mode squad right there. Speechless. Very well done, Ryan Murphy. Well done. So basically, this is playing up on an aspect that was going rampant in the 80s. That back in the 80s, everyone was a Satanist. Everyone was a Satanist. You played D&D, you must be a Satanist. You're a school teacher that wore black, you must be a Satanist. Heck, President Reagan was a Satanist. Okay, I have no evidence to that one right there, but what I'm saying is there was this rampant fear, and people were constantly discussing Satanism, and this was fear that young people were going to turn to the ways of Satan rather than the ways of God. And it seems like they're playing it up very well, particularly in Montana, because I think what's going on is she's not just there for the Night Stalker. I think it is clear that she is a Satanist who hunts virgins. If you notice throughout the last couple of episodes, she's constantly talking about Brooke's body, Brooke being the last American virgin, things like that. These references are constantly going on. And I believe that she's a Satanist who's been hooking up with a Night Stalker, and they have been hunting down virgins for sport. This is pretty interesting. This is fun. I'm loving it. I can't wait to see it. So next, I'm going to go over to Rita. Now, Rita has been revealed that she is a psychologist, and she has released jingles for the psychology experiment to see what makes a killer and how to perform a killer. Now, here's the deal. I think there's going to be a further twist with Nurse Rita, because I don't actually believe that she is even a psychologist. And I'm going to hit you off with this. There are many things that almost indicated like she was a spy or an infiltrator when she first appears on the scene. For instance, she's sitting there with the lady psychologist for jingles, and she starts boasting about how she has interviewed Ted Bundy and Gacy and all these other people and had got them to reveal other bodies and other victims they never talked about. And then the psychologist says, well, I've never heard of that. And she's like, yeah, it's a secret. They've kept this a secret. I'm like, well, that's totally convenient. Then later on, she makes a comment where she says, you don't look like somebody who should be so exhausted from doing your doctoral research, which I think is a hint, meaning that she is not a doctor doing it. Now, she says comments even out of that situation when she's undercover, as if, particularly about pornography and how she believes pornography creates serial killers or people who are violent to women. Now that can indicate another situation that's going on. And what I am suggesting is, I think she could be an undercover Christian. The camp is a front for a fanatical Christian cult of thrill killers, trying to get their rocks off by killing young, oversexed kids. The fear that pornography creates killers and more extreme things is a very Christian, also possibly primitive Christian, like 70s, 80s idea. Now, let me tell you, I identify as a Christian, so I personally, of course, it's a little offensive to believe that, they're all cultists going out to, want to kill sinners and all this stuff. However, in terms of for cult classic horror, this works perfectly. Now, if she is a fanatical Christian, that puts her back in actually on the side of Leslie Grossman's Margaret, the camp owner, and possibly they're part of a cult themselves. They seem to be masters of playing everybody against each other, as in Leslie Grossman, a super Christian, was able to convince a Satanist to work for her, which was genius. That is just gold. She is a master manipulator, and apparently Rita is too, and I think they are working together. Furthermore, I believe that they all the characters, as we learn their backstories, are going to be sinners. They're all going to have horrible sins, horrible things going on in their backstory, which is why Margaret and them lured them there. They want sinners there so they can kill them. And if all of their backstories are that of sinners or evildoers, that could mean that Miss Goody Goody Brooke is actually lied about the event and is actually a horrible person. My guess is that she could be a secret hoe bag who actually slept with the best man, and she's not innocent at all, which means that would ruin any chance to sacrifice her. Just like Margaret has lured Mr. Jingles there, she made sure he could break out of prison so that she gets him where she wants him. Killing again in the camp right there so she can finish him off, which she probably wanted to do for the last 17 years. And that is my 2 cents on episode 3 of American Horror Story 1984. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. So that is all the horror I was able to find here at Comic-Con Day 3. I gotta get out of here. I gotta jump on the train so I can go crash my sister's. Come back tomorrow to do it at an extreme Day 4. I hope you're all having a good one. I hope that you guys are reading horror. What horror comics do you know about? If you got anything to say, put them in the comments. Love each other, live the dream. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Ciao for now.